Photoshop has a powerful text engine that makes adding type to documents quick and intuitive. In this lesson, we're going to learn how to add point text, and then we'll refine it using the options bar. So to create our headline type, we'll tap the T key to select the text tool, or we can select it from the toolbar. You'll notice that there's 4 different type tools. There's a horizontal and vertical type tool, and then there's 2 other ones. These 2 will just give us marching ants. So they just create masks. They don't actually give us type layers. So I'll choose the horizontal type tool, and then I'm going to right-click on the type icon in the options bar and just reset the tool so that we're all starting at the same place. Now, there are a lot of different font options, and if you know the font that you're looking for, you can go ahead and type it in here. But I'm actually going to create some text so that we can then look at the instant font preview in just a moment. But before I start typing, I am going to change the font size. Let's go ahead and increase that maybe to 40 points. I'm going to make it center aligned, and then I can click in the color swatch, and I'll sample a color from my image. I'll toggle off the only web colors and just kind of get a dark blue color. Then I'll click in the center of the image, and Photoshop is going to add some placeholder text. If you don't want it to add this text, you can always go into your preferences, into the type preferences, and then just disable the option to fill new type with placeholder text. For now, I'm going to just keep this on. I'll type in calm seas. And in order to reposition the text while I'm still editing it, as long as my cursor is away from the text, I get the Move tool and I can actually reposition it in the image area. If I want to quickly transform the text larger, I can hold down the Command key on the Mac or the Control key on Windows, and then select any of the anchor points and hold down the Shift key to constrain the proportions in order to make this larger. Again, I'll position my cursor away from the text and then just reposition it a little closer to the center. In order to commit to the type, I can click on the check mark or click away from the text or select a different layer or a different tool. We can see in the Layers panel that Photoshop has named the layer the same as the text that's in the layer. Now, to center the type in the document, I'm going to tap the V key to select the Move tool and then make sure that it's targeted on the Layers panel and then just drag to reposition. And we can use the Smart Guides, and when we see that center alignment, that vertical line, I'll know that it's centered. Now, let's zoom in a little bit. So I'll use Command plus twice. Then I'll use the space bar and just move this over because I want to take a look at some of the other typefaces that I have. I'll tap T to select the type tool. I'm on the type layer. So when I click on the downward pointing arrow there, we can see all of the different typefaces that are installed. If I roll my cursor over any of these fonts, we can see the live preview in the image area. If I want to filter my fonts, I can type in, for example, the word bold if I just want to see the bold typefaces that I have. Or we can delete that, and then I can use the filter to filter on classification. In this case, I want to look at my sans serif fonts. If I just want to look at the fonts that I can use from Adobe Fonts, I can click on that icon. If there's a number of typefaces that I use again and again, I can click on the star next to the typeface, and then I can filter my fonts based on my favorites. I can also look for similar fonts by clicking this third icon. For this image, I'm going to start typing in Myriad, but you can select whatever typeface you want to use. And in this case, I'll just use Myriad Pro. All right, let's center my image by using Command 0. And if I ever want to make an edit to just a portion of my image, then I need to select the area that I want to affect. When I position my cursor over the text and I click, that would add my insertion point. If I want to select the entire second word, I can just double-click in order to select it. We can see that the alternate characters are popping up, but I'm going to ignore that right now And instead, I'm going to click on the color swatch and change the color to red. However, what we see is the inverse of the color. So I'm going to use the keyboard shortcut Command H on Mac or Control H on Windows to hide my selection. So the word seas is still selected. In fact, if I click in the color swatch and I select a different color, we can see that it is updating, but the selection marquee isn't getting in my way of seeing the true color. Just don't forget that you've hidden your selection. I'll use Command H again in order to bring it back. Now, if you've ever made changes to your text and you actually don't want to apply them, then instead of hitting the check mark, just tap the cancel option. All right, let's go ahead and choose File and then Save As in order to save this. I'm going to append it by using an underscore and then O1, saving it as a multi-layered Photoshop document in the Type Essentials folder. So there you go, a quick overview of headline type in Photoshop.